Hello, I'm Tyler Vandenberg, the Technical Director at Grace Collective Church. Thank you for taking the time to go through this quick training on general production team info. In this video, our goal is to cover some of the basic and generally non-technical information. This part of training is required for everyone on the Grace Collective production team. To start off, I wanted to share a quote from some resources on the Hillsong Leadership Network website. I think it really sums up the goal of what our team does. The ultimate goal is to be a united team making a service run and eliminating distractions for people to encounter Jesus. We don't just hit buttons and move faders and operate cameras to put on a show. We want people to experience Jesus, and we work to make a space for people to worship him, whether that's in person or through an online experience. So before we get too far into this, I wanted to share the link to our production team website. It's also linked in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. There you can find some of the resources that we'll be talking about in this video, including the Grace Collective Production Team Guide. This guide has some general team info in the first few pages that I'd really like you to take a look at, as well as some of the different descriptions and goals for the positions on our team. So there is a video from MXU that I've sent in team emails before, and I really want you to watch it, but I can't show it in this video because this is uploaded to YouTube and they would take this down. So if you need the link to that MXU video, just let me know and I'll send it to you. But the video is called Know Your Band, and it's part of a video series on mixing monitors for a band, but it has some really great insights into how we support what the band is doing and can bring a different perspective to how we do what we do. So I have a few key takeaways from the video. First is that communication and relationships are number one. I want you to worry about that before you worry about any of the technical aspects of what you're doing on a Sunday morning. If we don't get communication and relationship with everyone that we're working with right, it doesn't really matter if we get the rest of it right. One example in the video was using names instead of instruments or positions. And I started doing this when labeling the band's in-ears during the week or labeling the inputs on the mixer. Using their names shows that we care about them, not just what they're doing for a few hours a week. That goes for the production team too. We should be using people's names instead of what they're operating. There are a few exceptions. Calling camera numbers instead of people's names over walkie-talkies is the first one that comes to mind, but the general rule of thumb is to use names. Another key takeaway from the Know Your Band video is that we should be the last worry. The band shouldn't have to worry about us changing gains and messing up their in-ears during worship. Whoever's giving the message, they shouldn't have to worry about us having the right slide up at the right time. And people walking into a worship experience shouldn't have to worry about anything that we're doing. The goal is that they shouldn't even really be thinking about us or what we're doing during a service. I really want to drive home the point that we should be the last worry for the people up on the platform though. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could just get up there and worship in front of everyone or deliver a message without worrying and stressing about the stuff that I can control, let alone the different production elements that people on the platform have no control over. I want to just encourage you to take that into consideration when you think about what you do. We should support what's going on up on the platform, not inhibit it. And as this kind of goes along with that, but there's another great resource from the Hillsong Leadership Network that I wanted to share, and it's on team culture. As part of a team, we each have a responsibility for the culture. And I'm not going to go through this whole list, but we should definitely be lovers of Jesus before anything that we're doing. We should take responsibility for growing in our skills and our gifts. We should be prepared and ready to respond under pressure. We should be committed to excellence and always looking for ways that we can instead of reasons why we can't. I'd encourage you to read through all of these and just think about how you can help create this culture on our team. Next, there are just a few general expectations for when you're serving on the production team I wanted to go over. First, as a member of the production team, we ask that you're able to serve at least once a month. I know that some of you serve a lot more than that, and I am very thankful for that. I also know that there are vacations and other scheduling conflicts that might mean that there's a month you just can't serve. The goal is to have everyone serving at least once a month to help keep our skills sharp and to help keep you used to what we do on a Sunday morning. I also ask that during the week, you just take some time to listen to the songs and look over the service order before a rehearsal on Wednesday. Even if you're just listening to the song once on your drive to the rehearsals, just so you're familiar with them, that would be awesome. Another expectation for the production team members is that we're all continually developing our technical abilities and always learning. That's part of us striving for excellence. Excellence means giving our best, and we believe that God deserves nothing less than our best. Excellence doesn't mean that we expect everything to be perfect, but we do always want to be improving and continually giving our best to God while we're serving. That might look like finding some YouTube tutorials for what we do, or it might mean coming in on a Sunday we aren't serving to learn from someone else who does our position too. I also ask that you please arrive at least 15 minutes before a rehearsal or a sound check is scheduled to start. That way you just have time to power up the equipment and get any last minute updates on the service before things get started. The time listed in Planning Center is when something is scheduled to start and not the call time. And speaking of Planning Center, I know I mentioned it a few times in this video already, but if you aren't familiar with Planning Center, it's the tool that we use for scheduling, service order, service notes, and sharing song files. If you have any questions about Planning Center, feel free to ask. So this is new to the team, but we also have a new knowledge base. This can be accessed from the production team website by clicking production support up at the top. And it's just getting started, but this will be the home for all of our troubleshooting and operating guides. You can also submit a support ticket if something goes wrong. I'm still working on growing the knowledge base, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. To close, I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of what a Sunday morning at Grace Collective looks like from a technical perspective. So Sunday mornings, I will be at the church around 7 a.m. If you're serving at the 8:30 service, please try to get there around 7:30 or so that we can get everything ready for sound check at 7:45. The goal is to have the announcement loop and pre-service lighting started around 8, but sound check will usually run a little bit longer. Please be in position and ready to go by 8:25. The countdown will start around 8:27, but the technical director will give the ProPresenter operator a cue over the headset to start it, because it might not actually happen at exactly 8:27. The goal is to finish the 8:30 service around 9:30 and start the sound check for the 10:30 service around 9:40. If you're only serving at the 10:30 service, please be at the church by 9:30 so that we can be ready to go as soon as the 8:30 service is over. We'd like to have the announcement loop and pre-service lighting started around 10 as soon as the sound check is finished. Again, that might go a little bit over. At 10:15, we're going to all meet in the family room for pre-service prayer and a service overview with the worship team. We need to be out of there and ready to go by 10:25. The countdown will start around 10:27, but the technical director will cue that because it might not start at exactly 10:27. The target time for that service to end is 11:30, but there's a good chance it runs a little over. So that's some of the general and non-technical information for our production team. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope you learned something new or just found a different way to think about what you do. If you have any questions, please let me know.